Hello! When I first came to India, I made so many mistakes. I felt like such an idiot. In this video, I'm gonna expose all of my moronic mistakes to help you stay safe, save money, and have a better time as you're traveling in India. Hello again, everybody. I'm Ben Jenks. Today we're talking about mistakes made while traveling in India, so you can avoid some of them probably. I'm sure you'll have your own share of them. Today it's a beautiful day in South India. It's not too hot yet, which I am surprised about because it is summer in India. It is May here, and it is not uncommon for it to be over 105 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius. First mistake that you are probably not gonna make because you're not as dumb as me, don't drink the water. Now, I knew not to drink the water in general, like I wasn't gonna go to the tap and just take a big chug of the water.
Yummy.
However, my mistake was going to restaurants that I wasn't sure whether they used tapped water or not, because I would go to these inexpensive local restaurants. I wanted the local experience, so they would come and pour me a glass of water and I would slug it on down.
Quick interruption to invite you to subscribe to my channel. I share India travel tips every week and I'd love to have you a part of our community.
I also didn't realize all the things that tap water could be in. For instance, like the chutney. Coconut chutney is one of my favorite things, but it's uncooked, so if someone makes it with tap water, there's a chance you're gonna get sick. You can't have drinks or lassies with ice in them. You can't have salads because they may have been washed with tap water. Be careful of plates and banana leaves that have water on them. Brushing your teeth with water is a no-go. Showering and having the water go in your mouth. Try to avoid it as much as you can. Basically, just don't go anywhere near water in India and you'll be fine. Second big mistake was inviting locals back to my home. One specific local. So, one day I'm out looking for a bed frame and this guy sees me and he's like, "Hey, guest house?" And I'm like, "No guest house." But then I asked this other guy about buying a bed frame and he's like, "Bed frame?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Follow me." So we go on this adventure to multiple stores and he did a really great job helping me out. We found a place to get a custom bed frame and I was really happy. I gave him some money for his service and all was well. Now when the day came to get the bed frame, I was gonna not go with him. I was gonna go by myself. However, the dude shows up anyways. I'm like, okay. But he did another helpful thing where he brought a few of his buddies and a rickshaw. I don't know how I would have got it delivered to my house. This dude took care of it for me. So I paid him well for it and he delivered the bed to my house and we went on our way. The next week he shows up at my house asking for money. I liked the guy at that point, so I gave him some. The next week, he shows up at my house asking for money. This time his child is in the hospital. I felt bad, so I gave him some money. And this became a trend where he kept showing up at my house where I started to realize, like, dude, there's no way this guy's child is in the hospital. I would see him out on the streets and he would be drunk and he would be asking me for money. And I'd be like, now we got this problem. I don't want to call him a stalker, but it was along the same lines. Anyways, what I realized was I gotta be very careful about who I invite back to my place. Hello, how are you today? Third thing I did wrong was my head wobble lacked nuance. A good head wobble is subtle. My head wobble was trying way too hard. It was weird, I couldn't stop myself from head wobbling. Even when I was talking on the phone to American friends, my friends were looking at me and they were like, "Dude, do you realize you were just head wobbling during that entire conversation?" I like the head wobble. It's addictive, but it's difficult to master. Hello.
Did you see that? That's my head wobble after a year and a half. Please rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 in the comments.
Mistake number 4, be careful with the animals, even the cows. You're gonna think, and most cows are completely chill and they're everywhere and they're not gonna bother you. They're just sitting there eating their whatever they're eating. and enjoying their sacred life here in India. However, one day I'm walking down the street and this cow's walking the other direction. He may have been a bit agitated because the cars were coming so close, and he came after me with his horns. Had I not been so fleet of foot, I might have a horn print in my rear end because of it. Another day I'm going down this path, skinny little dirt path, and I see a horse come in my direction. Now I've seen these horses in this area before, no big deal, right? Well, this horse decided to kick right as I was going past, and to this day I can still feel how close that horse's hooves came from my bare head, and it's difficult to imagine, had I been kicked in the head by a horse, how much different my time in India would be. Mistake 5, I didn't research all of the scams that are common in India, and I did fall for some. One of the main scams is a place saying they don't have change. And it might not be a scam because a lot of them don't actually have change. But it's something you gotta be aware of. Before you buy something, make sure you're paying so you're not stuck after eating their food or drinking their chai, and now you gotta go run down how to exchange this 500 rupee note because they don't have any change and they're not willing to give it to you. I did notice one time at my local chai shop, I gave the guy 100 rupees. It was 20 rupees, I think. He said no change, and I looked down into his drawer and there was this stack of change, and I'm like, what's that? And there was a guy next to him that just started laughing, and he kind of put his head down, gave me the change. You gotta get up pretty early in the morning to pull one over on this guy. Another time I'm paying my rent, and I had counted out 10 500 notes, and my landlord said, oh, there's only 9 here. Now, I could have miscounted, so maybe this wasn't a scam, but I read later online that it's common for someone to drop one of the notes so that you then pay another 500 when the note fell below their legs. Another mistake, don't buy the cheapest hotel you can. India's hotels are very reasonably priced. I did a video about how cheap it is to travel in India, and for hostels it's only a few dollars for good hotels with more than 25 reviews and good scores. The average cost is $3.30 for hostel. For a single private room, it's less than $10 for a good hotel with plenty of reviews. We're talking $7.60 per night. And these hotels are getting 155 reviews on average with a score of 7.9. Sometimes travelers will come to India and they'll say it's terrible, they had a terrible time. And then oftentimes it's because they tried to save a ton of money by not paying a few extra bucks or trying to be the lowest budget traveler they possibly could. If you spend a few dollars more in India, you're gonna get a better hotel, you're gonna get safe, good, healthy food, and it is totally worth it. A lot of hotels will say that they have free Wi-Fi. And as a guy who works online, I would think that would mean that I could do my job from that place, when I have found that rarely to be the case. A lot of hotels will have free Wi-Fi, but it will mostly only work near the router. And if your hotel room is not near the router, you are out of luck. So, when you're booking your hotel room, ask to see the room and ask for a room near the router, and don't pay unless you get a good hotel room with Wi-Fi. When I was in Bangalore, I had to look at 5 to 10 different hotels to find decent Wi-Fi, and this is one of India's most modern cities that is used to digital nomads. Don't exchange money at the airport. Don't exchange money with random people you meet on the street. Pay attention when someone's giving you change. It's common that they may have added wrong, and it's also common for them to slip you some bills that have been torn. If you try to give that bill to someone else, they're gonna tell you they won't accept it. So you need to look at the bills when you get change and see if there's rips. I still don't do that sometimes, and I have like a stack of ripped bills I need to take to the bank. Remember, India is huge. Don't try to see too much. When my mom and my aunt came, they wanted to see so much, and I totally understood that. This may be the only time they come to India. However, when I started to see us booking only one night in some certain locations, I had to warn them like, yo, what if our train gets delayed and we don't make it there on time? We only got a few hours in this city? Book 2 to 3 nights in certain places. Try to see each place better and deeper than trying to see as many different places as you can. Trust me, India is not the same travel experience as a Western country. At its best is tiring. At its worst, you might not get there that day. Plus, there's just so much to see, not even sightseeing, but the daily life of people. You can walk around and see so much that you're not used to.
Ben Jenks?
Ben Jenks?
I'm also running
YouTube channel.
Yeah? What is your channel?
Yeah,
Movie
movie
man.
reviews.
Movie reviews?
Yeah.
It's worth having off days as you travel, going to a chai shop and sitting there and just watching the life of the people here. It's worth having time to spend and just go shopping or just walk around the city and enjoy yourself.
Hello. How are you? Hello.
Do book your train tickets in advance. You can book them, I think it's 180 days in advance. You definitely want to book them around at least a month in advance. We had much fewer options for traveling because we waited up until 2 weeks to book our train tickets. Keep in mind, a lot of the temples have dress codes. You can't wear shorts. Women need to cover up. Hold on, there's a loud bus coming. Keep in mind there's dress codes at the temples. Another mistake I made was not trying more food. When I first came, I ate paneer butter masala every day. Now, I didn't regret it until recently when I started researching how much variety there is in Indian food. Sometimes I'm looking at a menu and I'm like, I have no idea what most of this stuff is. So, paneer butter masala it is. But I started Googling different dishes regularly and putting in some time to really do a little bit of research. And I'm happy that I did because I found some delicious, delicious foods. I also used to say sorry, or I used to be polite to touts and beggars. And I realized like that wasn't helpful. By speaking when someone came up to try to get me to see their shop, it seems like they stayed around longer, and I knew I wasn't gonna go look at their shop. So what I started to do later on, oh, here's a bull coming my way.
Look at those horns. Hey, buddy.
So then I saw some Indian men wearing suits. When someone would come up to them, they would just not say anything, but they would just kind of wave their hand down by their side like this. After I started doing that, I noticed a significant drop in people coming up to me and bothering me. I feel like it's helpful to them as well because I'm not wasting their time on a customer who's never gonna buy. I'm cheap. I'm not gonna buy unless I wanna buy. You're not gonna convince me. Tipping. Now, I didn't realize tipping was the thing here. I thought there was no tipping when I first got here. And I shortchanged some great servers because some of the hotel staff, some of the waiters, some of the servers were so nice and their hospitality was amazing. I wanted to give them money, but I wasn't sure if that was the thing to do. Now I always tip 10%. I tip drivers 10%. I tip servers 10%. And I noticed that the servers seem to really appreciate it. It's helpful too, because now at some of the restaurants where I regularly tip, the servers will see me, they'll make sure I get a table, they'll make sure I get ordered quickly, they'll make sure I can pay quickly, and I feel like it's been a mutually beneficial thing. One time my computer died, and I needed to go 60 miles away to the nearest Apple store. I thought, what, this is gonna take an hour, right? Wrong. It basically took all day to drive there, get my computer fixed, and drive back. The trip itself took about 2.5 hours, and driving in India is just pretty tired. It's not like you're just sitting on a highway and zooming along. You're going through short roads. Hey, what's up, little guy? You're going through little roads. There's beeping, there's honking, there's stopping, there's traffic. What's up, little guy? A big mistake I made was underestimating how beautiful the Taj Mahal is. As a Facebook and Instagram user, I've probably seen it hundreds, if not thousands of times already. However, being on those grounds, being up close, seeing it just a few feet away from me, that marble, those carvings, it is amazing, and it's still to this day, as I'm thinking about it, left an emotional impression on me. With rickshaws, tuk-tuks, food at markets, make sure you agree on a price before the sale is complete. It'll give you more leverage. Tuk-tuk driver, they're just gonna try to get you in without a price and go. But if you ask and insist on a price, they will give it and you can get better prices. And avoid a scene. You know, you don't wanna get to a place and them charge you an outlandish fee and then you have to pay it or have to face this angry tuk-tuk driver. Hold your ground in lines and queues. It's common for someone to push ahead, but if you hold your ground, I haven't found people to be super rude and elbow me out of the way, so if I just make sure that I'm next in line, I always maintain my place in line. But at first you don't realize, and when someone gets in front of you, you're like, well, wait, what? What just happened here? Don't get too angry about little things. I haven't really made this mistake too much. However, sometimes I'm meeting other tourists and they're like mad at how long it takes the internet guy to come. Or they're mad that the Amazon package delivery guy asked them for a tip. I'm like, I mean, maybe I have gotten angry about stuff, but I feel like getting mad about that kind of stuff is wasting your trip. And you also lose the fact that anger can be a good tool to get something done when used sparingly. For instance, we need to get our groceries delivered and the market is pretty bad at responding to you. And while I was super chill for weeks, the one time I sent an angrier text message, they helped me and took care of my delivery much faster. But at other times, like I was at this hotel and their service was terrible. They weren't like helping me when the Wi-Fi went out. It was dirty and I was just getting mad all the time at everything. And I noticed they kind of just checked out, like, oh, he's not gonna be happy, he's annoying, let's give him even worse service. I also made the mistake thinking that India was super dangerous and I would be getting robbed, or I had to really watch and be really skeptical of people. Sure, it's like being in a big city. You don't want to be a moron and trust everyone you meet, but more often than not, the people have been so nice, so helpful. For every person who I feel like is trying to like get extra money out of me, there's just a nice person who's like, oh, excuse me, your money's coming out of your pocket, or oh, excuse me, your phone looks like it might fall, or oh, excuse me, do you need some help? Or if I ask for help, they go out of their way to make sure I'm taken care of. Don't bring boots unless you're trekking in the Himalayas or something. I brought these, I never wear them. I have not put on shoes in a year and a half.
That's all. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and check out more videos about India travel tips on my channel.